Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another week here in the GGvision Starcraft 2 Colosseum with me, Sebastian Sjöberg, and our Gladiator of the week, Grubby, here facing Liquid TLO, the red Terran, here in the lower left starting position of Xel'Naga Caverns. Grubby, of course, being the blue Protoss in the opposite starting position. And this, ladies and gentlemen, will be an epic start for an epic week. As you can see, Grubby is indeed our Gladiator, and TLO his challenger. Last week, of course, TLO came on the show as a co-caster. Right now, I expect that he's flying back home from MLG Columbus, Ohio, where Major League Gaming held one of their tournaments that was concluded yesterday, Sunday. And if you haven't watched it, I won't spoil the results, but man, was that epic. And my choice of Gladiator has been indirectly impacted by this MLG tournament, indeed, because many players have been preoccupied with that, as you can understand, whereas Grubby, which has always been a great inspiration of mine, now we see TLO putting down his barracks, choosing not to all in with it, and neither does Grubby. Quite interesting placement here, I must say, now going out to scout with his probe here. Grubby was not participating in the MLG. He is, however, participating in the North American Star League, where he faced Morrow quite recently, and even though he lost that series, it was an epic best of 3, and I recommend that you all watch it. Grubby has formally defeated both Morrow and TLO when he took the first place win in the Copenhagen Spring Games in April, which was his first notable victory in StarCraft 2. He has participated in the Assembly LAN in Helsinki earlier, so similar to Mondragon, which was our Gladiator last week. Here we see now Grubby putting on some hurt onto TLO's SCVs, but no dice. Now Command Center, a quick refinery, Orbital Command with a quick refinery going up for our nowadays Stockholm resident TLO, and a tech lab on that barracks. Looks like we'll see a Reaper opening or very quick Marauders. And now going for Cybernetics core back here, and indeed only one refinery, nothing too unorthodox out of the legendary player that is Grubby. Newcomers who may not be aware, Grubby is an esports legend Reaper now on the way for TLO, as he has won no less than 38 LAN tournaments, of which 6 were World Championships back in Warcraft 3, and now he's transitioning into StarCraft 2. Grubby, he is a master and a true strategic genius, and similar to Mondragon last week, he has yet to really carve his name into StarCraft 2. Here a proxy pylon being placed. This game, however, I have been told, will be a very genuine testament to his skills. Now we'll see what TLO can do with this Reaper here. He is, of course, a master of harassment, and will be able to do a lot of hurt with this, I'm sure. And this series is supposed to highlight what Grubby is all about, and considering that all the other pro gamers are nowadays climbing back into normal life after the MLG hangover, this will be a nice complimentary gesture, I believe. Now the Reaper is up in Grubby's business. Let's see how many probes he can take down. TLO needs to make something happen with this. We now see 3 more gateways being added to Grubby's infrastructure, so this Reaper is bravely retreating out of there. But indeed it seems like Grubby will do a 4-gate push via this proxy pylon here, and TLO is entirely unbewares of that. He does know about the 3 gateways. Now Grubby, interestingly, going for an expansion. Now this may be genuine. He may simply transition into an economy build, or this is sort of a fake, really. He can very well still go for this 4-gate push that will happen very soon, if so. And looking at the units tab, we see that Grubby has yet to really build any kind of forces. Here we see him now starting to warp in, so we do see a rush coming on from Grubby and TLO. He may not be entirely prepared, going for Orbital Command in his in the safety of his main base, and now adding 2 more tech labs. So Marauders indeed will be the name of the game. That will of course be very versatile against a stalker based army, but it's all about positioning and surprise. He is very well fortified up here though, so he is taking precautions. And Grubby will definitely be able to deny this expansion from going down, and hence being able to take an economic advantage, but even so, we'll just have to see who comes out on top of this exchange here very soon. And indeed, Grubby now starting to warp in his Zealot Stalker Sentry army, or as DJ Wheat put it at MLG, the Stellar Force with sentries on top. Now TLO moving out with his new orbital command and a fairly commanding force of Marine Marauders, but he leaving himself exposed right here. Grubby will be able to... oh, here's another proxy pylon. TLO might believe that is the one and only, but here comes the attack, ladies and gentlemen. What kind of damage will Grubby be able to do? He might be able to pincer these forces or take out a bunch of SCVs, and here indeed we see Guardian Shield force fields going up. TLO needs to retreat. He is definitely out of position. He needs to come back to the safety of his bunkers or risk losing his whole force up here. But Grubby on the other hand needs to inflict damage now. He needs to force TLO to lift and retreat, whereas his own expansion is somewhat exposed. This will be an exchange, ladies and gentlemen. Here we now see Zealots being shot upon by Marauders. These are of course slow Zealots. I don't believe he has the concussive shells yet though, so now Grubby's base is entirely exposed. Of course TLO is forced to lift off his command center, but he's Terran, he can do that. Grubby's losing so many SCVs, probes I mean. Workers killed 3, 4, 5, 11. We now see them exchanging, but so far TLO is ahead in Grubby in terms of economy. And now we see Grubby forced to retreat back down TLO's ramp. So the first exchange definitely going in TLO's favor, but Grubby able to take out the expeditionary forces. So fairly even. Looking at the units lost tab, we see that they are fairly close. Grubby somewhat ahead in resources lost, but still a very close exchange. Grubby, however, is in a commanding lead economy-wise for now, having more probes and having mined his expansion for longer. But with mules, TLO will be able to keep up. And now we see another exchange, a whole bunch of Marauders going down. That was very unlucky for TLO, but able to take out an expensive sentry at that. And now we see them circling each other. 9 Marauders and 1 Marine versus 6 Stalkers, 1 Sentry and 3 Zealots. And Grubby, having the shorter supply route, will be able to quickly diminish these forces if they do connect right now. Again, at the production tab we see them both reinforcing, but no further tech going down as of yet. Here in TLO country we see 5 barracks, and yet another battle will ensue. Grubby taking control of the Xel'Naga watchtower, but I don't think TLO is very wise in attacking this force. Guardian shields will be able to severely diminish the hurt he's taking, and these Marauders are medivac less, but here we see a pincer attack, beautiful, coming out from TLO, and again they are exchanging blows in a fairly even pattern, but Grubby should be wise in retreating right now. And here we now see TLO reinforcing his expansion, and it seems like the aggression will cease for now. Twilight Council going up for Grubby. Question is, will he go for Blink or Zealot Speed? That will of course be a very crucial choice in what kind of unit composition he chooses to focus on. A factory going down for TLO somewhere. I imagine that is for starport and medivac purposes rather than an actual mech build with siege tanks or Hellions, though I'd love to see some Thors coming out from TLO. Those of you who watched my previous cast will remember a very climactic Terran versus Protoss with the Wonderboy TLO himself versus Mouse Hasu. That was indeed a nuclear winter in the Xel'Naga Caverns. Many nukes fell, but it didn't save TLO that time. Let's see if he can pull up something similar this time. Zealot legs going down before Blink. I think this is an unorthodox but very interesting choice. Most Protoss players are favoring the blink upgrade very heavily, because it's so versatile. It gives you so much mobility. You can snipe forces, you can be constantly active, and you can, if you have the micro skills, and Grubby certainly does, you can impact a lot of damage, inflict so much hurt upon an opponent, and taking minimal losses therefore. Here we see another poke going up for TLO. He will try to put the aggression on while he builds up his army and probably expands again. If you're not attacking, then you're probably losing. That is an old Terran motto, and TLO is no stranger to aggression. He of course did quite well at MLG, didn't win it, no, but definitely manifested his skill, and we also saw some cool interviews with him. Templar Archives now going up for Grubby, where he wore shades and talked about how many friend requests he gets on Facebook every day. Super dude indeed, hope to have him back on the show soon as a player and a co-caster. But yes, MLG, as I'm sure many of you enjoyed, was truly a very interesting. Here we see a Zealot up in TLO's business, and another one. Seems like Grubby is still utilizing his backdoor proxy pylon over here in order to just annoy TLO. It's all about shattering a player's focus. Now Psystorm going up, and it seems like we will be having a very interesting Protoss unit composition, combating the Terran infantry ball with quick zealots and Psystorm, and that's just lovely to see. Grubby going for armor upgrade first on his forge, whereas TLO is well on the way to having 1-1 infantry upgrades. So this is looking to be a very interesting series indeed. Medevac's now out for TLO, and he's getting his infantry all warmed up. Grubby now looking to expand here to the goal. That's a very wise decision. He's got he can definitely contest for map control with TLO right now, but he needs to definitely get ahead in the economy game, and it seems like he will protect, he will defend his fresh expansion by putting on an attack, or at least force TLO to respond to his troop movement. And TLO not yet being aware of the approaching dangers, trying to expand to the gold himself, but this is a very formidable Terran force. Grubby is pulled into a choke point. He should not attack, but beautiful force fields, and look at that Psystorm, ladies and gentlemen, that's just beautiful. That is Warcraft free precision. That is Grubby at his very best, and you have to say that he came out ahead of that minor exchange, but definitely nothing has been determined yet. Now blink half on the way for Grubby, and that will put his Zealot Stalker army into a very good position to outmaneuver TLO. But what does the Wonder Boy have prepared for this? No further interesting tech. He is at 133 supply, just slightly behind Grubby. Looking at the income tab, we now see TLO at 53 SCVs plus mules, and going for a bit of a backdoor attack here. Very beautiful indeed, being able to take down 4 or 5 probes, but a Psystorm should be able to negate this fairly shortly, but the medevac is still up in the air, causing havoc, and now we see another exchange going down, many force fields, and Psystorm! That is just beautiful, ladies and gentlemen, and blinkage, and more Psystorms. This is dismantling TLO, making him look like a piece of poorly assembled IKEA furniture, but the medevac is still up here, causing havoc. This is definitely shattering Grubby's attention, and it could potentially take down some tech buildings. Seems like he does not want to lose his forces yet though, retreating them into the medevac. But having another look at the units lost tab, Grubby is still ahead. Protoss units are so expensive, and you can definitely see that TLO has now evened out the worker advantage that Grubby previously had, and still he is being very active with his medevac. He is a master of micro himself, and definitely making the most use out of his situation, using the superior mobility of a Terran bio army with their medevac support. But Grubby is intent on causing terrible damage upon this German from Leipzig, nowadays Stockholm resident. Another Psystorm just scratching the paint on those Marine Marauders, and it seems like Grubby, this is quite a formidable force, but if he meets the Terran head on or clashes into his bunkers, he will definitely lose it. So it's all about this deadly dance right now, and we just have to see who makes the first move. Like, seems like TLO is intent on taking down the Nexus, but he may just lose his army in the process. StarCraft 2 is a game of seconds, and Storm actually inflicting terrible damage upon his own Stalkers. Losing Medivacs does TLO, and his forces have been greatly diminished. This is now turning into a retreat for TLO, and he did not manage to take out the Nexus. Looking at the workers killed, they are fairly even. TLO slightly ahead, but it definitely is still an uncontested battle here. Grubby going for a very ballsy move. This is what we call a ninja Nexus. TLO is completely unaware, so now he is trying to reinforce and barricade himself here at this goal, which is a very good decision. Banshee's on the way out with Cloak, but here we see another clash. Grubby will have none of this. The Banshee might, however, turn the tide of battle, but the Storm is what's keeping Grubby definitely in the game. It seems like he is going to contest this planetary fortress, but I do believe that TLO will hold. The Storms again being that pivotal thing that keeps Grubby able to be aggressive, but anyway, this is a very fierce battle, but I do believe that TLO, using the superior Terran defense mechanics, will be able to hold. But still, Grubby has had his gold up for a long time, and if he gets to saturate this fresh expansion here on the eastern side, then his commanding lead will be even greater. Cloak now almost finished for TLO's Banshees, and he, being a master of the Banshee, will be able to inflict a lot of damage, and he just needs to make sure he doesn't lose them. Now Cloak being finished, I do not know if there's any observer out on the map. It seems like no. I don't think even Grubby has a robotics facility. This could prove very, very fatal for this Warcraft 3 pro, nowadays StarCraft 2 Protoss player from the Netherlands, Grubby. His work is being completely blown to pieces. This is a blunder, ladies and gentlemen. Grubby has not foreseen the Banshee switch, but TLO has, now laying a soft siege upon these probes here. But here we see a battle ensue. I'll have to get back to that with picture-in-picture. Storm all over the place. Grubby will have none of this. He will meet brute force with brute force, and this is simply brutal, ladies and gentlemen. Clashing into a planetary fortress. Had he had a bit more Storm, we could have eradicated these SCVs immediately. The Banshee is causing so much damage from above, and I believe the planetary fortress in and by itself will hold off this aggression. But it's very, very close indeed. You see the power of the Terran defensive machinery, but still, it seems like the Banshees had to retreat in order to take care of this battle. So Grubby defended the Banshee harass by sacrificing the entirety of his army almost. You see here, having killed a lot of units. But Grubby is climbing back into the leading position. And looking at the units tab, whilst Grubby eradicates further forces of TLO, we see that 15 Stalkers and 9 Zealots versus only 6 Marauders, and that's forcing TLO to GG. There we see it, ladies and gentlemen. Pure aggression can definitely beat shenanigans, and Grubby definitely shows that he has the wherewithal and the game sense to know when to attack and when to defend by attack even harder. I hope you enjoyed this cast. This week will be dedicated to our new Gladiator, Grubby. And if you haven't really been able to see the strategic genius that everyone is talking about from the Warcraft 3 days, well, this week will showcase precisely that. Grubby is indeed a StarCraft 2 champion in the making, and as a gladiator here in the GGvision Starcraft 2 Colosseum, he will prove precisely that. So stay tuned for more cast throughout the week. I am Sebastian Sjöberg, and thank you for watching. GG for now.
Adjutant online. Building registry. Custom